Describe your class in 3 words.
Eye-opening, hopefully. Informative. Interesting?
Yeah.
There are no answers. I think that's 4 words. That's the most difficult thing in TOK is realizing that there aren't necessarily concrete yes and no answers.
Hardworking, creative, and collaborative.
History of race relations. That's 4 words, I know,
Yeah.
but that's basically what it is.
Doesn't count as a word. How do you grade?
How do I grade? Well, I do summative and formative. Summative would be tests, projects, and then formative is anything in between all the activities we do. And then I do have a separate for IAs.
I grade based on journals. It's a huge part of it. Class participation is a huge part of it. Your contribution to the class, your attentiveness in class, and also there are TOK assessments. There's 2 major assessments for TOK students.
I grade based on participation in discussion posts on Schoology. I grade based upon essay exams, which are based on the external assessment that you'll take at the end of year 2. And I grade on various projects and class activities.
What do you think people should anticipate when they join IB?
All right, well, I want you to engage and be open-minded and interact and think in new ways. It's not about the grades, it's about learning and how we are protectors of the earth and we need to watch over her. So that's what I want people to get from this course, is a sense of what we owe back to the earth.
When they join IB, I think that they should think of it as being in a school within a school, that you almost have your own learning academy. You have a smaller group of students, a core of teachers. The teachers work collaboratively, the students all know each other. You should also expect to work harder than a lot of your peers, to have more to do than all of your peers, perhaps not get as much sleep as some of your peers, but overall I think it's a rewarding experience.
A lot of independent work, deep research, a dedication to the subject matter.
They should be ready to think outside the box. They should be ready to try and answer questions that don't necessarily have answers.
I think they should expect to think a lot. They should expect to work hard, and there's usually a fair amount of homework and a lot of writing.
And what is the best way to prepare yourself for this class?
I think go outside, go hiking, go talk to people about what they think about climate change, about recycling, what you can do individually to just start living more sustainably in your life, because we all can make little changes.
The best way to prepare yourself for this class is make sure you do all the summer assignments. If you don't do that, do it well, or wait till the last minute, you're going to struggle the first few weeks of school. It's all about habits of mind. It's about becoming a different kind of learner. It's about perhaps working harder than you've ever worked before. I also would read as much as you can prior to being an IB student.
Prepared to approach everything with an open mind.
So the best way to get ready for this class is just, anticipate reading, anticipate working on your writing, and be ready for lots of in-depth class discussions that will make your head spin a little bit, but that's not a bad thing.
Stay rested, make sure you're in school. I feel like being absent is it just puts the student in a tough situation because they start getting to the point where it makes it really difficult to catch up.
Can you describe CAS?
Sure. CAS is creativity, activity, and service, and that means that it is having the IB students be well-rounded people who explore in each area in order to try and grow and become a better, more well-rounded person.
What things do you have to do for CAS?
So you have to get a certain number of experiences in each area, so creativity, activity, and service. The only other big element of IB CAS would be the project, which is really cool because you get to combine multiple areas of the C, A, and S and be able to make something that can have a larger impact on the community.
How intense is the workload?
It's not bad if you manage your time, but if you don't, you're kind of screwed.
Well, I think it really depends on what else you do, but it's manageable.
It really depends on which classes you take. Like, it's definitely manageable. It just depends on how you organize your time and where you put your priorities.
What is your favorite class and why?
TOK, because there's no like right or wrong way to do it.
Probably history, because it messes longer. I really identify with it.
Biology, just because it's very intense and the core work is very serious, which I like.
French, because Madame Judd is my favorite. Madame Judd is really nice.
My favorite class is definitely math studies. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I took it last year. I had such a great time.
Psychology from last year, the class I never even knew anything about, and it was kind of like one of the best classes I've ever taken.
Because English is it's interesting. It's not really about like literature in the beginning.
My favorite class would definitely have to be IB Art, and I'd say that the reason for that is just because it's a different type of art class than I've ever taken before in my life.
Okay. Can you describe TOK?
No.
Okay.
TED Talks.
Is a philosophy class where there's no wrong answers and it just talks about how you know the world.
TED Talks.
Basically different ways of seeing the world and like different ways of knowing.
Okay, what are the main differences between AP classes and IB classes?
IB classes, you're much more engaged in your learning, and you have to really interact with everybody around you, as opposed to just sitting back and just listening to what teachers are lecturing about.
When I was in an AP course, I didn't feel as if I could remember all of the information. It was a lot of information. Not to say that IB isn't, but it was a lot of like take the information in and spit it out.
IB classes are not like cramming a bunch of information down your throat at once. It's more like long-term learning, really in depth.
Does it have an advantage in the college application process?
Definitely. I mean, a bunch of us got into some pretty good schools. Not only are interviewers impressed, but they're impressed by your skills that you gain, not just the program itself.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of schools have AP classes like we do, which is great, but not as many schools has IB, so no matter if it's more work or better or not, the whole debate, it just stands out that you did something different to challenge yourself.
Can you do a sport and IB at the same time?
Yes, you can, surprisingly. And I actually thought playing a sport made me more conscious of how much work I have to do.
Yeah, a lot of us do sports. I do 3 sports a year, and it's not bad.
So we're going to talk about the perks of IB from real-life IB students who are actually experiencing them. I guess I'll start. So one of my favorite things in IB is the cohesive group that we get to form. These are also my best friends, and we spend a lot of time even outside of school together, so you really develop a close bond and trust.
Yeah, but I would say it isn't isolating. Like, our group isn't isolated, I feel like, from the rest of the school. Like, you can still have really strong friendships outside of the group, and a lot of times the perception is that you feel isolated, but I would not say that that's the case.
It's almost just sort of like a unique kind of support group. Like, we all have the same projects due at the same time, and we're going through the same kind of stress. So we sort of get it, but then you always have your friends that are not necessarily part of that specific support group.
Yeah, and you always have someone like to talk to. I think in a way it kind of helps our mental and physical health because, if you have someone to talk about what you're going through, I think that it's very important and you will succeed.
And also what's really nice about that is that IB is kind of a school within a school, so that we're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. Everyone's going through the same classes, so we can always relate to what's going on with each other. We can always talk about like hey, what are you writing your written task on, or how's your EE going, stuff like that.
And even just the relationship between the year ones and the year twos is really cool. It's almost like the year twos kind of mentor the year ones a bit.
The cohesive group structure is like a really great part of the IB, but I think from the outside, it's seen as a really negative thing. Like there's a lot of things against IB kids, but I think what IB is doing, bringing it to our school, is it's helping like sort of bridge that disconnect. And the teachers treat us in a way that they really respect us, and I think we've really earned that